A Raisin in the Sun is a play about a low-income African-American family with an insurance check coming in the mail. A few months before the story's beginning, Big Walter dies. His life insurance check for $10,000 is left to his wife, Lena Younger. This check means a great deal to the entire family. Big Walter's children, Walter Lee and Benitha, have dreams they hope the check can help fund. Benitha, or Benny, is going to be a doctor, and she hopes to use some of the money to help put her through school. Walter Lee wants to use funds to invest in a liquor store business he hopes to own and operate with two of his friends. However, his mother and his wife, Ruth Younger, think this business is too risky to invest in. Ruth wants to use the money to better their lives, but Ruth is the only adult family member who does not ask Lena for some of the money. The story shows how money and dreams can affect a family and tarnish their values. In the play A Raisin in the Sun, Lorraine Hansberry presents Walter Lee Younger's sacrifice to symbolize each character's longing for the American dream, and ultimately the choice between the dream of owning a store and creating a name for himself and his values of familial pride. Hansberry's breakdown of the play into 3 acts, building Walter up as selfish, greedy man in the first 2 acts and highlighting his breakdown and regrowth in the final act, proves that Walter's sacrifice was a difficult and worthy one. Throughout the play, each character showcases their dreams and values through the lens of what the check can do for them. Lena Younger's American dream centers around creating a space where she can raise her family safely and give her children and grandchildren a decent life. Lena focuses on how the money is only hers because she lost the love of her life and aims to use it in ways her husband would have wanted. However, Walter sees the check as a way to get ahead. Walter believes that the liquor store is his shot at making something of himself and attaining the American dream. He is in a state of unrest, and his dreams for the liquor store are harming his relationship with his wife and family. The opening of the play shows conflict between Walter and every other family member. He feels that Travis's morning routine gets in the way of his own. Benny's dreams are draining the family, and his mother and wife are constantly opposing him. He greets Ruth angrily about Travis needing to wake up earlier in the morning. And Ruth bites back that it's not Travis's fault he got a bunch of crazy good-for-nothing clowns sitting up running their mouths in what is supposed to be his bedroom after 10 o'clock at night. Hansberry 5:30 to 5:35. Walter gets upset and says, "The things I want to talk about with my friends just couldn't be important in your mind, could they?" This statement highlights the isolated feeling that Walter carries with him throughout the play. Walter is defensive and cold because he believes if his dreams are finally attainable, but his family is holding him back. Lena is in charge of where the money gets spent, and she believes that selling liquor is sinful. Walter's resentment for his family's lack of support festers into resentment for his family as a whole, and this resentment leaves him eventually numb. When he finds out Ruth is planning to terminate her unexpected pregnancy, he barely reacts and then leaves his broken wife to go drinking. After Walter comes home bitter and drunk, Ruth tries to bring him to understand her and recognize the hole in the marriage. She asks him to remember how we used to talk when Travis was born, about the way we're going to live and the kind of house, well, it's all starting to slip away from us now. She begs him to realize his dream of fatherhood and put it before his dreams tainted by greed. Ruth's American dream is to live in a world where she can love one child without having to sacrifice another. It becomes clear that Walter's values are money and status until he is forced to recognize he has made a mistake and let his dreams crush his spirits. Lena decides to follow her dream and use the check as a down payment for a house in Clybourne Park, an all-born neighborhood. Shortly after the Youngers put paperwork through on the house, they are greeted by Carl Lindner, representative of the Clybourne Park Improvement Association. Lindner comes to express how the community feels about having an African-American family moving in. He says he believes the problem with society is that no one is talking things through and would like to give the Younger family a chance to understand the people at Clybourne Park feel about their new neighbors. Lindner tells the Younger family, "The residents of Clybourne Park are prepared through the collective effort of our people to buy the house via a financial gain to your family, because he believes that for the happiness of all concerned, our Negro families are happier when they live in their own communities." Hansberry 138:50, 139:39. The Younger family does not give his offer any serious thought until it is revealed that Walter has given the check to one of his business partners, and that business partner has gone missing with all the money. All $10,000 gone. Benny is disgusted with her brother because he has gambled away her American dream. The rest of the family is equally disappointed because the man they love and trust has ruined their chances of a better life. Not one Younger was willing to sacrifice the dreams of another family member for their gain, but Walter did. He continues to put his greedy thinking at the forefront of his mind. He aims to fix the problem by sacrificing his pride for a payout. He reaches his breaking point and tells his family, "I'm going to look that son of a bitch in the eyes and say, 'All right, Mr. Linder, that's your neighborhood out there. You got the right to keep it like you want it. You got the right to have it like you want. Just write the check and the house is yours.'" He gets on his knees and continues saying degrading things, and without an ounce of dignity left, he ends his charade on his knees yelling horrible things for money. However, when Linder comes back to the Youngers' home, Walter's threatened performance is not acted out. After his mother tells Travis to stay and witness the man his father has become, Walter cannot continue with his plan. He starts to talk about pride and his father, and he decides to make a great sacrifice. He decides to stay strong and fight for his family. He decides to forget about the money and the liquor store and show his son what his values are. When faced with this decision between his dreams and values, Walter ultimately proves he values his family and their pride more than his ambitions. Hanbury used the first and second act to showcase how Walter's dreams had led him to value money and status and created a selfish shell of a man. This is why his breakdown and regrowth is such a significant change. Walter is portrayed as an unfeeling man obsessed with his legacy. A man who, when his wife told him she was going to terminate her pregnancy, decided to go drinking. A man who was so obsessed with his own beliefs he couldn't listen when his family warned him about how his greed was infecting him. A man so blinded by a fortune he believed he deserved, he gambled away his own father's life insurance check. Becomes a man who stands up for a family and shows pride in the life they have built. He stands by his son and tells Linder he can't take the money because the Youngers have decided to move into our house because my father, he earned it for us brick by brick. We don't want to make no trouble for nobody or fight no causes, and we will try to be good neighbors. And that's all we got to say about that. Hansbury 2:18:7 to 2:18:26. After almost 3 acts of Walter shutting his family out and pursuing his personal goals without care, he realizes he has fallen far from the man he once was, the man his father raised him to be. Hansbury uses Walter's resentment and pain and turns it into a beautiful story about how dreams change. She recognizes that people sacrifice for their family every day and showcases how even if Walter was caught up in his greedy ways, he could not sacrifice his family's pride for money. Lorraine Hansbury uses Walter's story to show that sacrificing one dream for another is noble, and that is the American dream. The Younger family's dream was to live in a home surrounded by people worth sacrificing for.